Hello there, Jeremiah Oshan, Cristian Roldan. We are here for Nos Arietes Yacht Con. Thank you so much for joining us. Hoping you're already having a good time. Cristian, welcome to the show. I appreciate you doing this.
No, thank you. It's my pleasure.
So you've had quite a couple years here with the Sounders. Obviously drafted before the start of 2 years ago. Got your feet wet, and then last year kind of really came into your own. Is it felt fast? Has it felt like a rapid ride for you, or what's this felt like?
I think last year specifically, it was a quick transition where I went from being a sub into being a starter and finishing off the year with the MLS Cup. I think that happened very, very quick. The transition was very fast. I think with the coaching change, everything going on, it just happened all of a sudden, and I wouldn't ask for it in any other way. And I'm just happy to be in Seattle and happy to bring back an MLS Cup.
Yeah, it seems like you've enjoyed the ride. It seems like you've done this all with a big smile on your face. And one of the aspects of that is it seems to be from the outside that your friendship with Jordan this last year got a lot of publicity. You guys have had a lot of fun with that. But did that help a little bit to have someone that was like a best friend on your team?
Yeah, I mean, it makes things. It's a long season. It's a very long season, and you want to have good buddies on your team. Obviously, my first year, I definitely did. Gonzalo, but they were a little bit more older. Gonzalo, Ozzy, all those guys, Marco Papa. And then this year, I feel like with Tyler coming in as well, Jordan, especially, we just became good friends all of a sudden. I think we were in the same position, somewhat of the same position, and I think we were able to grow together, and I think it definitely helped both of us in the long run.
And so how did that it seemed like all of a sudden, from the outside looking in, I'm sure it didn't happen this way in reality, but from the outside looking in, it was like all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, these guys are like best friends. How long have they known each other? But maybe you knew of each other, but you couldn't have known each other before camp started. Right?
I said hi to him a couple times in college. I just said good game, kind of.
Right.
And actually, I probably knew his mom more than anything. I mean, I just said hello to her and had more of a conversation with her than Jordan. And then the season started. Actually, the first day he got there, he was kind of upset that I didn't sit next to him. I was like, he's like, I didn't know anybody on the team, and I expected you to be by my side. But no, he's a good guy, and he's a pleasure to have in the locker room for sure.
So has it become a little much for you, the kind of the way that people like myself, people in the media have kind of played up the friendship, or would you, or I mean, like, I don't know, do you feel like the need to assert like, oh, I'm my own guy here too?
Is this whole interview going to be about Jordan? I mean,
rightfully so. Fair. That's fair. That's a fair point.
Rightfully so, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I would say we both grew together, and just having him around has definitely made me my own person too. But we enjoy all the publicity. I mean, it's fine as long as it doesn't affect our game, to be honest.
Okay, so last one on that. What do you think of the nickname Jorston Morton?
I think it's hilarious. I think I didn't know how to pronounce it at first, and
I think that's what we're going with.
We tried like 10, 15 times, and it never went right. But no, I think it's awesome, and I think the the several two polls that are out now and are incredible. I don't know how Bread does it, and
shout out to Bread.
Yeah,
Good.
Shout out to Bread. She's an amazing person.
Yeah, absolutely. So you taking it back a little bit, the way you kind of came onto the national scene, assuming we ignore the commercial, but the way you kind of came into the national scene was the Gatorade Player of the Year. Alexi Lawless actually surprised you at school, right? To present that to you. But kind of one of the aspects of that I think is somewhat interesting is that always goes to like a prep player as opposed to like a club player. And it seemed like you kind of have made your way up the up the food chain in professional soccer in a way that a lot of players don't. I mean, you played prep soccer, you weren't at big clubs, you were lightly recruited, ended up at UW, which obviously worked out okay for you, but then even kind of with some attention at UW, you end up dropping to the Sounders at 15 in the draft. And it seems like the story of a player who has a chip on his shoulder, or who maybe should have a chip on his shoulder, but you've never played that way. You've never kind of come off as, well, I got to prove everyone wrong. I mean, how would you describe your mentality going through all that?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own story. I think mine is unique in the sense where, I was 9 years old. I ended up making an Adidas commercial when I was 9. Got this Gatorade award, and seemed like everything was going my way. And then all of a sudden, I felt like I was going to stop playing soccer right then and there, right after I got that award. I was applying for colleges where I was just going to go to school, and I was lucky enough to.
So you were really considering like not playing in college?
Well, I didn't have any offers until any scholarship offers or any walk-on offers until really January of my senior year, and by then I was already applied to 8 schools just for school, and UW and Cal State Bakersfield gave me chances, and I can't thank them enough, and Jamie and their staff, but UW really took a chance, and I just wanted to make the most of the opportunities that are given to me. And I think coming from my family where they really had nothing growing up, and coming to the United States as immigrants, I think speaks volumes and speaks to my mindset going forward.
Yeah, I would think that as a Southern California boy, you spent your whole life in Southern California before you moved up here. And I think at least you strike me as someone who's very comfortable in the Pacific Northwest. How has that transition been, and do you now consider yourself kind of a Seattle guy or a Pacific Northwest person?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it many times. I think this is my second home, if not first, honestly. My mom gives me a bunch of crap because she says that I'm never going to come back to California, and she misses me, and I just tell her it's your time to move up. So
That's what I told my parents.
Yeah, so I mean, I like Seattle. I like the Pacific Northwest, and I think the city has been great to me. I've been, I think I've been received with open arms, and definitely the fans from Seattle, from the Sounders, have done that for me, and I can't thank them enough.
All right, so I wanted to end the interview with a few questions that are a little lighter, a little more playful, and don't feel like you need to go overboard in answering any of these. So, you can have fun with it. So one of the first questions I had, and this was my wife actually is a native Spanish speaker as well, and so she suggested this question: what language do you most often dream in?
Dream? English. Yeah, I don't think I've dreamt in Spanish. I don't think
Really?
so. Yeah. I think English is I think it's because I speak English a lot more. Yeah. Because I'm not at home.
Right.
Yeah.
But even when you were a kid, you didn't
No.
dream in Spanish?
For some reason, no.
How funny.
But that is a good question. I need to start paying attention.
You need to start dreaming in Spanish. So one of the iconic images of the Sounders winning MLS Cup was you conducting a post-victory interview with a piece of pizza. How satisfying was that pizza in that locker room?
Well, it was pretty good. I'm going to be honest with you. It was exactly what I wanted after 120 minutes and after MLS Cup. It's just as good as this one right now.
So, 120 minutes, you didn't get to take a PK. Did you want to?
Yeah, Schmetzer actually told me that I was number 7 a couple of days ago, and I was ready for it. But I'm glad Ramon scored it because I was kind of nervous about that.
So we're going to end it on this note. I got to imagine you have at least one good Brian Schmetzer story.
Right. Yes, I do, actually. And it was the first day back from the combine, from the draft. He asked me to come into his office, and he basically ripped me a new one and said, if I see what I saw at the combine, you're gonna not play on this team. And I said, okay, sir, I got your message. Went back to the car and I said, oh, is this gonna be like each and every day? And then things lightened up and things worked out. But
So Brian can be a hard ass when he wants to.
Oh, when he wants to, yeah, for sure.
Well, this is Jeremiah O'Shan here with Cristian Roldan. Thank you so much for doing this. This is YachtCon 2, the YachtCon 2 at Cafe Sienna. And we're going to send it back to you, Jeremiah.